in the 504. Let's go, New Orleans. This our city in the same time. What you know about that black and gold? Ooh, that Saints in the 504. Let's go, New Orleans. This our city. When the Saints go marching in, oh, when the Saints go marching in, when the Saints go marching in, oh, when the Saints go marching in, oh, when the Saints go marching in, here we come. Katrina tried to break us down, steal my city's crescent crown. In one big swallow, she left New Orleans hollow. Some had nowhere to go. Some say it's all they know. Born and raised in the Big Easy, home of my heart and soul. Now another team taking over the scene. You dancing on the street, moving your feet. Other squads trying to follow our swag. We originators of that who that say they gonna beat them saints. Whoever said that better know they can't. And that's the truth, no matter what you're told. Make some noise for that black and gold. What you know about that black and gold? Ooh, that Saints in the 504. Let's go, New Orleans. This our city in the same time.
Shalom, family, and welcome back to another exclusive interview brought to you by News, Facts, and Comments and Major TV Let's Talk. Well, I'm a Coty Tamar, y'all already know that. And today we have Mr. Glenn Chayil Jones and Mr. Ricardo Smith of the Feather Fund NOLA. And they're here today to tell us about this festival they have going on Sunday. And it's sort of twofold, right? Is to bring exposure to the people of what we now know as America, but way back then was called Turtle Island. And so we're going to delve into their culture and what it means to be Inyan, as well as demonstrate how working together can benefit the community. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up our brother Chayil while we wait on Mr. Ricardo. So I want everybody to give a warm welcome to our brother Chayil to the show. Welcome, my brother.
Shalom. Shalom, shalom. All praise to the Most High. How y'all doing?
All right. So, my brother, before we get into all the festivities that's surrounding the festival, why don't you let the people know who you are and what you're all about on the personal level?
Personal level. As she said, Chayil is what people refer to me now. Born and raised here in the city of New Orleans, the state of Louisiana. Family has been in the community business for a long time. We have the largest Black newspaper here in the city of New Orleans that my grandfather started 57 years ago, and my father, Terry Jones, still runs to this day. So community work has always been a part of me from childhood. And I'm continuing that with my foray into being a historian and really trying to bring out the truth about our culture and how our city came about. We have a very strong tourism city that gives a lot of different tributaries to how this city came about and the state came about, but they miss many. Most of the time, it's the Aboriginal side of the story. So we, through our festival and different efforts of me documenting the big chiefs in the community and getting, direct word of mouth from them through a series I did called 42 Tribes, interviewing 37 of the big chiefs in the community and letting them bring their story instead of being a part of a celebration that always happens here that everybody knows about. So, personally, I come from a family of community service, and my extension of that is into the culture and the who we are in this city and this state. And through that, I use the festivals and documentaries as the vehicle to do so.
Okay, good explanation. You're community oriented and focused on the culture. So tell everyone a little bit about the Feather Fund and what's its mission. That's the Feather Fund NOLA.
Yes. Feather Fund NOLA addresses a serious need that we have in our community. New Orleans, ever since the 80s and a little bit of the end of the 70s, when we had the stopping of oil being pumped off of our shores, stop fracking and whatnot, the petroleum business was a major business here for our community. When that went down, that rose up to tourism being the next large, economic way of making money for the city, right? So everything got turned into tourism, and many of those jobs or those middle class families we kind of lost, and it all became, housekeeping jobs and things like that. So the culture got caught up or became a part of something that it never really was, so to speak. So we're trying to give the true backstory to that, I guess, so to speak.
Okay, so that's what the Feather Fund NOLA is all about. So
bringing funding, let me finish that off, I guess. We've had so many, today has been a long day, guys, so forgive me, but the Feather Fund, because the city has not been able to give back to the culture that has brought tourism dollars to the city. The culture of the Indians, the culture of the second lines, it is the people here, and it is the general what do you call that? You accounting says the general product, the GDP, right? The GDP of New Orleans is the culture of the people, but they don't give anything back to those people. So those people are part of a diaspora. That's the Inyans and Carnival, which we celebrate as part of the diaspora, like you have in Brazil. But in Brazil and in Trinidad and even in Italy and wherever else is celebrated, the governments pay for the people to participate, except for here in New Orleans, where our people pay for the feathers, they pay for the suits, they pay for the sequins, they pay for the beads, they pay for everything, right? And the city doesn't give any reciprocity or anything back to them, but they receive the benefit of the tourism dollars from what they do. So the Feather Fund is set up for us to raise funds, as I said, through the vehicle of documentaries, of festivals, to try and start bringing funding back to where we can provide the materials that they need in order for them to actually dress out, to make these suits, to pay for the feathers, to pay for the beads, to pay for the sequins, to pay for any permits that the second line crews need. So the Feather Fund is built to bring money back to the community that has kept this city afloat ever since the petroleum and the oil left from this area.
Okay, so you pretty much wrapped up my next question, which was going to be how difficult was it, or was it difficult to garner support for the Feather Fund's cause? Did you find it difficult? And where did that friction come from?
Well, first, I think we should let everybody know that, this festival this year is the first time that we're doing it in St. Charles Parish. So St. Charles Parish is very much what you would call a red state. Prior to that, we were a red, I guess you could say, parish. We are in Louisiana, we're separated by parishes, right? So New Orleans is a blue parish, right? So 3 years before COVID, we were doing it in New Orleans. And like I said, we should let everybody know that you were a major part of those festivals happening, as you were my business partner putting on the Black Masking before it translated into the Aboriginal Carnival Inyans and the Feather Fund and Louisiana Curatives, which is what the companies are now. So, personally, the issues that were had when you are trying to first educate a community and then fight against the oppressor of that community. It's where you're in the middle and many people don't know what you're doing, but you are doing something that is good and they all kind of agree, they kind of step off, but you have detractors, the ones that are profiting from the misunderstanding or the miseducation or just the way the status quo is, being that the status quo that everything in New Orleans runs through the term Mardi Gras, all funding, especially all tourism. So the biggest problem was trying to find funding to put on these festivals, especially when you're saying, no, this culture is separate from Mardi Gras. It's its own entity with its own history, with its own culture barriers or culture pillars, and that it has its own lane. That was extremely hard. To first tell the people of the community that you have a lane of your own, when they've been making money off of the lane that was provided by the so-called oppressor, the city government that's not giving them anything back. When in Brazil, Trinidad, and Tobago, and all these other different places that do carnival, the government pays for all their materials. So it's hard to let the community know that you're fighting for them for something that they are owed, something that they are due, something that is status quo everywhere but where you are. And then to fight the people that have the money and say, hey, we know you got the money. We're not going to say Mardi Gras Indians. We're going to say this. We need funding for this lane. It was extremely challenging, but with the Most High, man, there is nothing that you can't achieve if the Most High gives it to you to do. No matter what, especially with COVID going through 2 years and even trying to do a viral festival just to try and keep it going, it has been an extremely learning, humbling, beautiful journey to get to the point where we are now.
Okay, so basically we can say the city of New Orleans embraced the culture, but did not want to give any funding to keep that culture going or keep that culture alive. It was just an attitude of giving. That's what they do. So they're gonna show up every Mardi Gras and show out. So, and they basically were taken for granted, right?
Exactly. And they'll throw little crumbs here and there to this tribe, little crumbs here and there for that tribe to show up, and take the picture, do the little video op and roll with it. And you have everybody struggling. Yeah.
So with that in mind, I want to play one of those productions that we did trying to wake everybody up to preserving the culture back then. So I'm going to play this clip and see if it, it reminds you of anything or anything comes to mind that you might want to add to what you just said in relation to how the city, supports or don't support. So we're going to go ahead and play that clip.
From your research.
Wake up. This culture is mainly a culture that is self-taught, self-sustained and self-funded, and I call it Afro-New Orleans culture. Those words were by Donald Harrison Jr. And the reason we say it's Afro-New Orleans culture is mainly because this is probably the only African culture that you may not find in Africa because it's born right here in New Orleans.
All right, so
Man, you on your job. You found that clip that you on your job, man. Yeah, that was like 5-6 years ago, but that was the origins. That was the birth of this. Yeah.
yes, sir. So like you had mentioned, you and I were in the trenches together when all of this the first started, and everybody was used to calling our people, the Indians, Mardi Gras Indians, right? And so you and I had that long conversation is how do we change the narrative? Because after you did the research and whatnot, you find that the majority of them gave you the history of how they were masking and not necessarily Mardi Gras, if affiliated with Mardi Gras, right? It was a whole separate kind of event for the Black maskers. Did they thing on what they call Mardi Gras Day. They came out in the different neighborhoods, and that was totally separate from the Mardi Gras parades, which most people are used to. So we were trying to figure out how to change the narrative and how to put that out in the atmosphere. But now today, when you go in and you Google or you Google Black masking, everyone is writing about Black maskers and Black masking Indians. It's very simple that you'll see Mardi Gras Indians. So do you think that Black masking.org changed the narrative and the language of everybody and how they'll be referred to? And you know what I mean? So do you think that we were instrumental in changing the narrative? And if so, why did you move from Black masking Indians to Aboriginal Carnival Indians?
Perfect answer. I mean, perfect question. Really good question, guys. So one, you asked early, and this all kind of goes to that first question of the trials and tribulations, or what resistance did we have in doing this? So as you said, when we did the interviews, the documentaries, the maskers themselves referred to themselves as Black masking. When we came out and went with that lane, you had many that were making money as the title, working title as Mardi Gras Indians. So you had a lot of pushback from that, from certain people, not all. So everybody started to support it because they really started to believe in everything that we were saying. The history that we provided for them was clear. And so everyone said, yes, Black masking. But then it came a point to where people said, we're not masking. This is who we are. So when earlier I said this has been a journey that has been tumultuous but beautiful, because if you don't, I truly believe that iron sharpens iron. And if it wasn't for the strength of this culture to stand up and say, we not masking, this is who we are, that what we do on Mardi Gras Day or in Carnival is going back to whom we are, that what we do every day when we go to a job, we're masking, and we talk about it in some political, social, political circles as coding, as code switching, right? So this community and this culture feel as though they're code switching every day, and when they put those feathers on, this is who they are. I said, that's real. I had to do some research, right, to really kind of understand where to take it from that, because also understanding on my spiritual side, understanding that Black has no rights in the law, right? And understanding that the Aboriginal, the people of this land, have treaties. So not just that we are doing something about entertaining or trying to change people or impact, we're trying to truly bring people back to whom we are. And when we understand that our power is knowing whom we are, then understanding that a title has been given to you, such as Mardi Gras, that Black is pretty much aligned with the title of Mardi Gras when we're looking at a historical people that date back to this poverty point, which predates the pyramids in Egypt by 1,500 years, right here in Louisiana, 2 hours north of New Orleans. So when we understand the true historical aspect of what this culture is doing and what it's reflecting, it's more than Black. And it should be connected to something that's more rooted than an English terminology. So with that, we understood that Aboriginal, though it be English, is cross different languages to understand the original. And Carnival is because this entire culture came from a melting pot, but specifically the day of what they call Mardi Gras, which only means Fat Tuesday, which only signifies the day before Ash Wednesday, meaning it is a Catholic celebration. Understanding that the Aboriginal and the transatlantic slave that came from Yehuda, which the historical books here in Louisiana, the French books state that they brought particular slaves to Louisiana, and they were the colonizers here that actually brought the transatlantic slaves here, and they brought them from a particular place called Wayuta, which was off of the slave coast, which they call Wayuta, which is the English terminology, Judah. So understanding that these are the ones that they brought over here in this melting pot of Congo Square historically, said that on the day of Mardi Gras, those two communities came together and did the practices outside of the Europeans because it was the day they got off. The Europeans would give the slaves and the Aboriginal the day off on Mardi Gras Day, and then our community will put their regalia back on and go through the community and not parade, but second line through the community. Whereas Mardi Gras has parades, whereas Carnival has second lines, which you can find all the way back in Akunkpunk in the Blue Mountains in Jamaica, where they also fled to, which also has the Maroon Society, which is where that coming together in this culture stems from. Historically, it was called the Maroon Society. When those slaves would escape from the plantations, they would run to the Aboriginal, and that was called the Maroons. So understanding all of this historically, we understood that this history and these people and the culture that they're representing was way bigger than the terminology Black. And in fact, they were not masking. In fact, they were bringing back who they are. So it became Aboriginal Carnival Inyans.
All right, my brother. So now you're gonna have to send me a new hoodie to replace this one that I have on right now. So I don't feel like, oh man,
It's not bad,
I ain't even representing, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta send me one to replace this one, you heard me?
We are. And look, I still wear my black mask, and it's not that we're ashamed in any form of fashion from the work that we've done. It's really the conversation piece to explain that we evolved and that all of us as a people should not get stuck. And I mean that tonight. Is any message I can give anybody, whoever you think you are, whatever you think you come from, don't get stuck in that. You need to continue to search for who you are spiritually and, ethnically. And you are more than just a descendant of slavery. We are much more as a people and as a culture.
I'm glad you said that, my brother. That was well received. I'm gonna bring in your partner here, Ricardo.
All right.
Hey, Mr.
Hello.
King. Heard a lot about you, but never got a chance to see what you look like face to face. So, salute. Thank you for being on the show tonight. Tell the people.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, tell the people a little bit about yourself before we go on with the interview. Make yourself known.
Well, I'm definitely a friend and a partner of Glenn Chayil Jones. I've been knowing him for quite some time, and I knew when he started the festival in New Orleans, and he came to me and said that he wanted a fresh face on and take it to another level. this festival. And I thought about it and embraced the idea, and we brought in another partner, and here we go. And so my background is human resource and recruiting. And so I take pride in bringing us together, myself, Glenn Chayil Jones, and Rachel Harris, and forming this organization with the goal of bringing this culture to the forefront.
Okay, well said. Now, since you mentioned the culture, we want to give the people a little taste of what actually happens when the maskers or the Aboriginal Carnival Indians get together in preparation for their big day, their big coming out day on what the world knows as Mardi Gras. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip, and I'm going to bring you guys down and bring this clip up.
She got some good ones.
Let's see. Go ahead and press play on that one. Okay, Al, can you explain what's going on right here?
About ready to explode. I mean, we got so much footwork, so much showing, so much singing going on. It's about to go down. We're in that monogram hunters territory right now, you dig? Ready? We not ready? We going home and get ready? We still got a little bit more work to do, you know what I'm saying? You got look all you was shine. You see the man.
Wow. Yeah, man, that was man, great times too. Great clip of game that you brought up. So that was Monogram Hunters was the tribe that was hosting Indian practice. So right before Carnival season comes, they have each tribe will have practice, and they allow other tribes to come in to the practice. And it's a time where the community comes together where they're teaching the younger and the youth how to do it. So you have tribes, so it's like having a scrimmage, just to give people a football analogy, right? It's like before the season and preseason, right? They play different teams will come and play each other. The Saints always play Wisconsin's play the Green Bay Packers right before preseason. So this is like preseason for them Indian practice, right? So they're teaching, all the way down to 5-year-olds, man, to like 4-year-olds. They are in there and they rent out a hall or they rent out the bar, right? And usually it's the bars because that's all back in the days of our deep oppression here. We would just rent out the bar room, right? So what you saw was them. This was, I think that was that was 2 years before Mardi Gras, COVID. I forget what year COVID came, but that was about a year or two before COVID. And Big Chief Fayo at the end from the Seven Wall Hardheads, he was talking to his skull, as you saw, right? He was talking about going home and sewing because they were all at practice. It was like, we did all right, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but we're going to get ready, though. We're going to get ready. We're going to go back to our tribe, and we're going to do our practice. We're going to get our sewing. We're going to be ready for that day. And that's what the Indians call Mardi Gras morning or Carnival morning. They call it that day, you know what I'm saying? That I wake up in that day. So now we know that from the scriptural terminology, but as you learn and you get deeper into this culture, you'll realize that second line and what they do in New Orleans is not something that's done anywhere in the United States, and really not something that is done in any other place, right? But you will find it back in Jericho in scripture where Joshua was the chief, which we have the Indians would be the chief. And then you have the priest that had the trumpets, right? Which you have our drums and our trumpets here. And then the second line is the people behind the front line, which is the big chief, the priest and the trump, right? So what you see from scripture all the way to here, and going back to what I said in reference to whom the French settled this city with in 1718. So, you can see a lot of similarities if you dig deep into the history of this culture and the people here. It's very ancient.
So you gave us a lot of history, and I pray the listening audience has soaked this in. So Ricardo, I will go back to you. You mentioned that Glenn approached you about putting on a fresh face. Why did you choose the river parishes, St. Charles Parish?
Good question for him.
Good question. First of all, New Orleans has over 100 festivals a year, and being from St. Charles Parish, going to school in what you would call New Orleans, and working in New Orleans, I see this area as a region. I'm not as geographically confined as a lot of other people, and so Louis Armstrong is a New Orleans icon. But he born in Luling, Louisiana. That's in the St. Charles Parish area. And a lot of notable people come from this area. When we talk about the Indians, Inyans, the 1811 slave revolt was done in the river parishes. So culture and our struggle as a people spills beyond the borders of New Orleans. We are people, and I've had an opportunity personally to travel in different areas of the country and different areas of the world, and I find a similarity in the people. I'm talking about the Aboriginal people of that land, the diaspora, different lands. So I'm not as relegated to geographic locations as some people. My personal sojourn is to show how closely linked we are as people. And once we can lay down those geographical barriers and see each other as brothers and sisters, maybe we could get somewhere in this world. So I welcome the opportunity of bringing this activity, this event, to St. Charles Parish, and note that St. Charles Parish opened their arms. Not that we didn't have struggle, but we expect struggle. But from the top, we were welcome with open arms to come and to show what we have learned and what we can do here in this parish. So I guess I'm a little bit more global, and I think this subject matter lends itself to global awareness, and I think that's what we're doing here. And so it's a fresh face to this activity, and with new people, and we've been welcomed with open arms, and we now have a place where we can literally grow, and we can see 20 years from now where we started and where we are right now. So that's my intro into this process.
Okay, great to hear that. So, and with that being said, Chayil, how has it been doing business in the river parishes as opposed to doing business in Orleans Parish?
First, I like to say, Ricardo's being a little modest in his explanation of how he brought us to St. Charles Parish. New Orleans, as he said, has over 100 and some odd festivals, which is basically a festival every other day we have here in the city. And as I stated earlier, the funding was all under Mardi Gras terminology. And the revolt that was done in St. Charles Parish inspired Ricardo to really bring a global look to what we are doing as a people here, that we are not just descendants of slavery, and that's the only thing that we can promote. Now, it was sketchy because, as I stated before, we're in what they will consider a red parish, as New Orleans would be a blue parish. But through Ricardo's work in the community for as long as he's been there, and being that he was on the tourism board for St. Charles Parish, he was able to really lay a roadmap. So when he speaks about a place to build, I must give my brother a pat on the back, because he has created a foundation from a government perspective that we didn't have in New Orleans, where New Orleans didn't align, this government didn't align. You are basically a hamburger on a assembly line in New Orleans when you're doing festivals, as opposed to a government saying, hey, you can do a 5-year contract to come here and we'll support you as a government for the next 5 years to make this thing something that is generational, something that is impactful, and something that's just not fly by night. And we're just taking your funding, your tax dollars, and moving forward. So his belief in this being a global thing and desire to have this be something more than just a slavery tourism and a slavery understanding of who we are as globally Aboriginal people, really laid the foundation for us to get that building capability with St. Charles Parish. So, you know, the difference of working from New Orleans to St. Charles Parish has been close to night and day, in the sense that we have true government partnerships and all the way to the state via this particular city. So we have Billy
and corporate,
Hmm?
and corporate sponsors.
Yeah, and corporate sponsors. So we were able to partner with Billy Nungus's office, who's the lieutenant governor here, to where through Ricardo's tourism board was able to say, hey, we're a part of this, right? And we're gonna extend this to the state and let the state know that this is a part, and set up a meeting for us to meet with Mr. Nungus, the lieutenant governor, via their office to really talk about our festival, something we've never got done in New Orleans. Sat down with him, and the lieutenant governor expressed to us that COVID not only affected us, but it affected 40% of the festivals in Louisiana, and that they were strapped and was ready to do support any new festival that was coming in to bring economics back into the state. As I stated, we're no longer petroleum, so everything in this state is about tourism. So working with St. Charles Parish gave us an opportunity to work with the state of Louisiana, as opposed to being in New Orleans, where we were just part of the 100 and some odd festivals that were just coming through the assembly line.
Roger that. So I remember, I can recall when you and I were struggling to get sponsors. I know Ricardo mentioned corporate sponsors, and we were struggling to get sponsors to come in and sponsor the festival. And we had a discussion about 501c3 nonprofit status. And at that time, Chayil, you were like adamantly against it. So I noticed that the Feather Fund NOLA is now a nonprofit 501c3 status. What led you to change your mind, sir?
Well, you know, like I said,
Can I answer that? Can I answer that, Chayil?
Go ahead.
So when Chayil brought me into this, and as he stated, understanding business and how things should be allocated and how to lay out a path for success. You know, we have the information that, you know, we have, but then now we have to develop a process for success. How do we get to the end goal? And, you know, this is truly not for profit for Chayil and myself, and for Rachel. This is a personal, spiritual, cultural sojourn, and something that we take very serious. If we don't make a dime from it, but we are able to express this gumbo of culture that's developed here in Louisiana, throughout Louisiana, out into the world, we have been successful. So through the 501(c), we're able to reach out and get corporate support and government support, because those entities have a way to provide those funds, at a tax write-off for them, and it's good business. So taking the spirit of what we're doing and being able to monetize that in this market is, I guess, where the partnership came into play.
Yeah, and I'll add on top of that, when I didn't want to go through a nonprofit, and she's absolutely right, and I can't skip over that because I was pretty adamant about it, and it drove her crazy. So just let me, to clear that up, it's in the beginning, we spent our money, and I really wanted to, or I was almost hippie-ish to the fact that I wanted to organically do it, right? I wanted it to be something that was of us, from the community, not having to delve into that. But humility comes in a lot of ways, and COVID was a gut punch for many, and in that gut punch, and then speaking with Ricardo and him being able to lay out a roadmap to that, because I had to see it as well, and not having the funding to just go out and do it again. It was, how can you say, it was a blessing, in disguise. You know what I'm saying? It was a scenario where seeing the path being laid out and not having anything to fight against it, meaning that you just got to do it. So that was what it was.
And so I am so glad that you took a chance and went in that direction, because corporate is some kind of way responsible for what happened to us. And so I am pleased to see that corporate is now embracing our culture. So I'm gonna get back to the sponsors in a minute, but I did want to go back and touch upon the educational piece. I noticed on your Instagram page you posted someone from, I believe, from St. Charles Parish, and I want to go ahead and share that with the audience. Give me one moment. Let me pull that up. Let me see. Yeah, this is the one.
Not just from the arts, but also from a science and technology standpoint, similar to what we do in our workforce development at St. Charles Parish Public Schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me play that one again. Okay, so I don't know why I keep stopping, but it is important. What he's saying is important. Wait a minute, let's do it again. One second, you guys.
No problem.
Technology. There it goes.
I think it's important to educate our youth about all cultures, because it's important for them to understand where every child and where their peers come from. But also it's very important from a workforce development perspective, not just from the arts, but also from a science and technology standpoint, similar to what we do in our workforce development at St. Charles Parish Public Schools with our satellite center and both of our high schools. so that prepare them for life after school. I think it's important to educate our youth about all cultures.
So yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and put that part in there because I think that it's important that the young people learn from your experience and teaching the culture so that they won't ever forget how to pass this down to their children so the culture never dies. And that's what we were all about in the beginning, preserving the culture.
Yes.
Right. So did we lose Ricardo or?
He froze up right before you went to play the clip. So maybe he's trying to come back in. But to your point of that was St. Charles Parish School board member that was speaking, and to illuminate the point even more about the reception that we received from St. Charles Parish. The school board and the school system has really partnered with us. Again, we can continue this theme throughout the show from here, which is the difference between New Orleans and St. Charles Parish. In St. Charles Parish, they're not spread out all over the world with all the different charter schools and all the different programs that's going on. There's a synergy in St. Charles Parish. So it took us a while to get to be a part of that woven community. You say New Orleans has the worst school system, but St. Charles Parish is number one in the state, right? And it's number one across many boards, right? And nationally ranked. So it has the number one robotics program. So this school system is embracing our history, not the history that's in their books, but embracing the history that we are bringing through the Feather Fund of the real Aboriginal melanated Indians and the tribe that were here. They're woven that into their curriculum. This is a scenario that I again say only the Most High could have done. And for this first festival, they are twofold. The school system is participating in twofold. One, they are going to do from 12 to 2 o'clock, they're going to do a robotics display, different cars, different robots, different things that they've that they've, roboticized that make that move, that's automated, right? And secondly, they've had from the 4th grade to the 8th grade do artistic renderings of different aspects of the culture of Louisiana. And we're going to display that at the festival. And then we're going to take that and we're going to ship that over to the high school in between now and Mardi Gras. And the high school is going to digitize that because they have one of the number one STEM programs in the South as a high school. So they're going to digitize that and make that into layers, and we're going to display or debut that during Mardi Gras. So the St. Charles Parish school system has put their actions, their school, their curriculum where their mouth is, and I don't think I would have ever had that opportunity to do that in New Orleans.
And you must be in my head. That's why you, my brother, we still think alike, because that was my next question. How has the Feather Fund NOLA incorporated or made part of the culture of Black Masculine Indians, a part of STEM in the arts program for the youth? And you just answered that question so beautifully. So at this time, for those people who are just not joining us, you are watching and witnessing a true historian, Mr. Glenn Chayil Jones, and his partner Ricardo Smith was just with us. Hopefully he'll be joining us again. They are hosting the what we call it, the Fall Cultural Festival, and this is the fifth annual. Correct? Am I correct? Fourth annual cultural festival, and it's going to be held in Luling in St. Charles Parish in New Orleans. And let's go ahead and take another look at that video ad that you guys put together advertising your event.
Let's go get 'em. Come on, let's go get 'em. From way downtown. Let's go get 'em. We bout nobody. Let's go get 'em. Ball no trouble. Let's go get 'em. There's trouble coming now. Let's go get 'em. Ain't nobody worried. Let's go get 'em. Ain't nobody hollering. Let's go get 'em. Say what they talk about. Let's go get 'em. Say what they holler about. Let's go get 'em.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are now 3 days away from the festival. So how has the people in St. Charles Parish really responded to a first of a kind event? Have you had many ticket sales
We've had a good study.
and yeah.
We got
So, but
hit.
before you
Huh?
think about this. Once you tell me about that, tell me how has the culture in New Orleans responded to you moving? First, tell me how the fans, how the people are receiving it in St. Charles Parish, and then follow that up with how the people in New Orleans has taken the news that the cultural festival is no longer going to be done there, but yet in St. Charles Parish. And you got a 5-year contract, so
Yeah, yes, and it's gonna be that. So, first, St. Charles Parish, obviously, from us having that commitment from them, from not only the city government to the school board to the parish tourism, which is not just St. Charles Parish, it is St. John and St. James Parish as well. I must say that the River Parish Tourism is as our partner in this, as well as the St. Charles Parish government. So the tourism department comprises of all the river parishes, so St. John, St. James, and St. Charles Parish. So first of all, that has been outstanding. From the river parishes to St. Charles Parish, they have all been saying that this is something that they should have had before. Like why haven't we had a cultural festival? Especially because they have so many different cultures there, from German, Irish, Italian, not just Spanish and French, right? Back in the river parishes, you got everybody. You know what I'm saying? You got all the Cajuns, the Acadians, you got all. So it is a truly culturally rich corridor, right? So they have been embracing the fact that we are bringing cultural festival to the river parishes. The River Parish tourism mandate is that they want to bring tourism to the area. So we're falling in line with what they want. As far as New Orleans is concerned, about us leaving New Orleans, many of the culture is a little confused. This is 45 minutes away from New Orleans itself, but this is also an exercise, as in what Ricardo was saying, and I'm glad he's back. This is an exercise in expanding our people that have been globally challenged, right? Geographically, excuse me, I was going to say geographically challenged, that don't want to go over the bridge, right? We know, born and raised in New Orleans, we thought the West Bank, let alone coming to where the airport is from New Orleans, right, is far, right? We thought just crossing the West Bank was a whole nother city. So, so this is also stretching them. But they are in support, though. They are ready to come and showcase what we do in New Orleans here in St. Charles Parish.
So Ricardo, I know that preparing for and executing an event such as this, when it took a lot of willpower from me and a lot of sacrifices, financially and family time as well. So I know that it's a lot of work that you have to do behind the scenes in order to make this event happen. So Ricardo, what type of impact do you think the fest will have on the river parishes?
I think it's going to be an awesome impact. As Chayil stated, we're stretching the boundaries. We're stretching geographically. We're stretching awareness, spiritually. We're really bringing together the culture, and look at who has been in support, true support from day one. It's been a multicultural, coming together. So as we stated, Chayil, you'll be surprised who support, and you'll be surprised who don't. So we just kind of steamrolled it. We took no's, on the shoulder and kept going because we're in goal, and that's truly to strive for peace. And we can look at another man, no matter what his color, no matter what his religion or what his political affiliation are, and just see brother, You know, I think the end goal is to promote peace, and you promote peace by promoting harmony, you know, and congruency, you know.
Yeah.
We
He's having some technical difficulties. You're breaking up, brother. So
about, and can you hear me?
Now,
yeah, you kind of
I think our connection is pretty bad.
let me
you wanna go out and come
let me
back
kind
in.
of add on to what he's saying. So the how can I say the roadmap, and like you said, as we're stretching, as we are saying how St. Charles Parish, the impact that is coming from bringing all these different cultures together, and how it has been a surprise who has supported us when we, didn't think that person would be inclined to want that. I want to give a quick kind of example of that. So when we brought this to the Parish President Matt Jewell to do this cultural festival that in a parish that is majority Caucasian, that is a industry. It is the narco oil corridor, right? And it's all mostly plants and factories. So as we sat down with him, to tell him we want to bring this cultural festival, and we wanted to have his, approval of what we're doing. The surprising thing was he let us know that because we had just had Hurricane Ida at that time, and he said that when hurricane happened, it knocked over a tree that was in their yard, and under that tree was Indian pottery. Now, was that a coincidence that we are coming into this parish and we are meeting with a Republican parish president, and we're bringing this culture of education of who we are as a people of Aboriginal, and the tree comes over his house and he has Indian pottery underneath this tree. Then he goes to explain that his family was part of the first settlers that came to that area, and gave me a map that showed the lots of the first people of the area that were into the St. Charles Parish, and where his family was one of the first names that were there from the beginning of founding of St. Charles Parish. So we came across a place that we would have thought, because of political ideologies, it wouldn't be a fit. But when, as he said, when a man can sit and look at another man and respect that man for his culture and for where he comes from, then we can start having that type of brotherhood. So that at that meeting, he was like, I'm in. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is all tied into my family. My family met these people when they first came. I know that they were melanated Aboriginal people. It's not a question of who, the type of Aboriginal that were in this area. So yes, this impact has been far-reaching, and it is not about being pigeonholed into color, race, or creed. This is truly about history and bringing cultures together, because as we always say, Ricardo and I always tell other people, when you have white and black, you have just destroyed both cultures, because Caucasians aren't just white. They're either Italian, or they're either Franks, or they're Visigoths, right? They're not white, right? They come from a nation. The black people aren't black. We come from nations. We come from cultures. And that is what Louisiana is, and that's what we're celebrating here, and that's what we're doing that's a bit different. And we think it's going to be extremely impactful if people take the time to come and enjoy with us.
Wow, that's an amazing story of how, you have artifacts on the land in which you were trying to, go forward with in the area where you want to be Indians too. That is simply amazing. So that was a blessing from the Most High for sure. Yes. So I I want to go ahead
And
and
I
talk
want to say one other thing. I want to say this because we kind of passed over it, but I think that it's very important that we state it. As we're talking about all this history, we're talking about the future. And it's important that we discuss from whence we came and how we can be doing what we're doing here, and what, you know, the major statements that we're making with this festival about what the Aboriginal was here and how they were together before the English came in. But on the other side of it, we got to feed our families. And STEM and STEAM is the big thing that what we needed, this 5-year relationship with some place that we could grow into, because the school systems allow us to come in, not just because they want to have the true historical aspect that we can bring, and the alive Indians that are not dead, right, can come and do some performances and speak to their kids. But how can those kids turn this into something that can be profitable for their families? And how does that work for St. Charles Parish, which is a factory-based place? So when we talk about stretching things, let me tell you what I'm about to explain. We stretching, right? So we are taking this history and turning that into workforce development, because this new digital realm, not just the kids have to learn it, but the adults have to learn it for their job. So with STEM, as we have stated, that we're taking what these kids are drawing artistically and what is our culture, from the Indians to the feathers to the alligators to whatever it may be, and then having the high schoolers turn that into a digital sleeve, where these kids are now learning how to take this culture and create their own businesses and bring monies back into them, as well as exposing the parents to what STEAM is and how it works in the corporations. So the corporations, their reason for being with us, which is, of course, we have the 501c3. Yes, both of y'all were correct. I will stand down. I was wrong on the 501c3s, but not just because about 501c3 does the corporations want to be a part of this. They want to display the new technologies that these kids are going to be having to know how to use, as well as the adults that they have now to retrain into the digital realm. So we're using our culture, which has been a giant party, which has been a great economic source, but we are the ones that are coming in and honing in this culture and saying that this is not something that's done away with. We can now transform it into the new realm and teach our adults as well as our kids through our culture how to work in this AI, this STEM arena.
So that can basically probably maybe bring in some manufacturing jobs and some new factories or whatever, based on the new AI technology and the robotics and all. That's stemming, STEM can stem manufacturing in that area as well. So that's a beautiful thing and in a glorious position to be in. So I want to go back in time just a little bit, because I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about this. You were executive producer of a film called Downtown Indian Culture. And I just want to know if you have any plans on doing the Uptown Indian Culture film. But before you answer that, I want to have the listening audience see what was the screen, I guess the premiere advertisement for the film. So we're going to let that clip play, and then you could come back and tell us about your future plans moving forward. So hold on just 1 second. Let me get my bearings here. Press play.
Not all African people got here through the slave trade.
The queens is the backbone, keep them in order.
Everybody won't try to be the one, but I feel like they were only one, and it was Tootie Montana.
Great man, great chief. He always been my heart. He always be my chief.
There were actually black Indians here. They wasn't African. They wasn't red men. We were black Indians here.
Masking is not new for us. You know, when you go back 1,000 years in the history of Africa, you'll find that we were feathers, that we had a masking culture. When you look at the beating system, you know, I always relate the system that we use to the Nigeria style of beating, which is the Yoruba style of beating.
There's only two kinds of Indians, and that's innovators and duplicators.
This culture is really a culture that comes from our existence as indigenous people of the land.
So, yeah.
That brings back fond memories, man.
Yeah.
You know, that was a great night debuting that. We did that at the largest screen in Louisiana, which is at the IMAX Energy at our aquarium. And I was just actually talking about the film today. It's ironic, but I want to release it. I want to let it go. It's been a thing that I have to work with in here, because it was a truly it was a mission of love, man. It was a labor of love, and so, but I do need to release it just so that everybody can just watch it like on YouTube or something. And then, so part 2 is going to come within the next year. Hopefully we're going to be able to get that done within the year.
That uptown Indian culture, that's in the works. All right, I'm glad to hear that. I am so very good to hear that, right? So showing that type of entertainment that you bring. Let's get back to the festival. Explain the fest activities and the type of entertainment, what artists you have headlining and what artists you have making their first debut. Tell us a little bit about the festival itself.
Well, the festival is going to be 7 hours from noon to 7 p.m. We have a great lineup of entertainment, of community entertainment up until 4 o'clock from different community organizations. And at 4 o'clock, we bring on the big acts. We have from, as you know, when we did music, B is the Future from the group Higher Balance that we have produced and put out as a team. But B is now solo, so he's going to be performing at the festival. A brother named Keelan from LaPlace from St. James Parish, right? LaPlace? Mm-hmm. Yeah, St. James Parish. Big guys in the community that you know, as well as we have 2 brass bands, 3 third, I forgot the name of the second brass band, but 2 brass bands, as well as Amanda Shaw and the 79ers, which 79ers is a group that really encompasses our culture. It is Big Chief Romeo and Big Chief Jigga. Big Chief Romeo is a big chief of the 9th Ward tribe, and Big Chief Jigga is the big chief of the 7th Ward tribe. And they came together and brought a band, and their voices are absolutely outstanding. So they're singing culturally rich songs with updated music behind it, as well as new songs that they've done, and they're really a state favorite. Amanda Shaw, another statewide favorite. Amanda Shaw really brings a lot of people in. She's truly from this area, the River Parish area, so she is will bring a large crowd. So we wanted to have diverse music coming in because we said it's all cultures that we are celebrating, as well as from 12 to 2 with the robotics. We're also having some great arts and crafts that's going to be there. Art by Sharonda, who actually, when you guys, the different commercials that Okoti has played today with the cover of our festival, that particular chief is Lil Walter Cook of the Creole Wild West. That portrait was done by Art by Sharonda, who's also my wife. So she's going to have a booth displaying that. We're going to be selling for the first time Indian art from actual Aboriginals here in Louisiana. So she's going to do that with some great resin art. We have the tourism department is going to be displaying all that is that you can do from the River Parish, from St. John to St. James to St. Charles. So we have a lot of things packed and ready to go for the goers, for the fest goers, along with a great beer truck, along with the tap with some daiquiris and some other good things that they will enjoy.
Okay,
and some great food trucks. I forgot about the food trucks.
Yeah, what about? I mean, you can't have a festival without the food trucks, especially in Louisiana. That Louisiana cuisine, it got to be on, got to be there. So
we have a lot of that.
I noticed this time around the festival is not free like it was in the past. You do have to purchase a ticket. Tell everybody about how much the tickets cost and where they can go to find this information.
You go to featherfundnola.com and hit events, or you can just go straight to featherfundnola.com/events, however you like. And there I have everything that you need. Parking passes, VIP. It's $10 for everyone 13 and above. Everyone 12 and below is absolutely free. We decided to do charge this year because just like the change from into nonprofit, you have to feed the family. So we are charging $10 to get in, but we think that you will enjoy more than your $10 worth.
Right, and I would say you all don't be afraid to go out and spend the $10. I think it's going to be well worth it to be able to see all of the different arts from the different artists, listen to some good music, and just fellowship with those of like mind who want to preserve the culture. So is there any other engagements that or any other areas on the websites that the people can go to learn more about you and your organization, other than the Feather Fund, which is I'm displaying that website right now? Any other place that you want me to highlight for you?
Other than our Instagram, we like people to follow us on Instagram and Facebook as well, under Aboriginal Carnival Inyans or Feather Fund NOLA. We have both of those Instagram accounts that you guys can stay update to. Yes, I still haven't switched that one over. We have that. There you go, right there, Aboriginal Carnival Inyans. And so you can stay up to date with the things that we are doing. Other than that, there's a lot on our site. There's also videos of the interviews that we've done with the big chiefs in the past. So there's a lot to chew on our website. Like you said, what we're doing is pretty massive, from the STEM to the culture to the river parishes. It's just a lot to digest. So, please, you guys, jump on into the website, read about what we've been doing, and join us, help us, because we are on a great mission.
And here I see you have some sponsors. So if you want to run through and tell us, who's the chief sponsor this year's festival, that would be great. Let us know who's got the most duckies in this piece.
Well, I don't know if Ricardo wants to hop in on this part and explain it, or you want me to go with this one, brother? Is his thing going?
Yeah, I think he's frozen again. Looks like he's frozen again.
All right, well,
I see you managed to, get Shell. Like we were chasing him down for a minute. So I was glad to see Shell is in the house. And of course, Data News Weekly is there strong again.
Yes.
Okay, Cumulus is still in the house. Okay. I'm seeing some familiar names, you know what I mean? I'm seeing some familiar.
Well, when we were doing it, we did quality business. We as people can tell, as you are about justice, and what your whole channel, along with Major, what you guys are doing is about being watchdogs in the community, making sure that people are being just to each other. You know what I mean? So, the work that we did together, we always walked in that manner, you know what I'm saying, of doing it with our word and our backing and our funding. And we say we're going to do it, we do it. So that has enabled me to keep those relationships over the COVID span. And so we're very thankful, because Cumulus, as you know, has always had our back. You know what I'm saying? Cumulus has always had our back. And shout out to my brother Jay Michaels, you know what I'm saying, still in the building, and Pat Galloway, as you already know.
Pat Galloway's still hanging in there, huh?
Yeah, Pat has been a soldier for us. You know, he's the general manager. And when we talk about these seeds of expanding, you know, this Cumulus broadcast is a special radio station because it's not just New Orleans. It spans all the way to Baton Rouge. So that's what has really gotten us to get people from Bush, Louisiana to sign up, right? So we want to, you know, Cumulus has been with us from day one. Data News Weekly, my family's newspaper, has been here from day one. And then, you know, thankful of that. But also 3090 Marketing that you see up there, which is new, which is our partner, Rachel. So Rachel owns that company, 3090, and has put together all the imaging, all of the website, everything that you see. Our whole digital imprint comes from 3090 Marketing, you know,
Very
so want to.
Very good.
Yeah, so so if everybody is, you may not, you know, Rachel's not on with us right now, but you've seen her on the interviews that we've done before. But you got to give her absolute props, because as you always talked about to my Coty, I was going to say sis, but as you always know, Coty Tomar, you've always preached to me the back office. You know what I'm saying? It's the most important thing, right? So I want to give Rachel a shout out for being that back office and our image that you got, that everybody sees online. So you see that we have St. Charles Parish right there. St. Charles Parish was instrumental in with Ricardo, you know, and I wish Ricardo, that's why I wanted to let him come on, because he's the one, through Ricardo's connection through the River Parish Tourism and all that he has been doing in St. Charles Parish, his relationship with the Economic Development Department was the way that we were able to get to Shell. So I really wish that his screen didn't freeze up, because he was absolutely instrumental in making that happen. So we were able to get Shell via the River Parish Tourism Commission, which he sits on that board. So he was able to, and the Economic Development Department reached out and made sure that Shell understood that we were backed by them. And that was something different than what we had in New Orleans, where you had a governmental entity come in and say, hey, I know you got 50 million people coming at you, but these guys, we you know, they're on our team. You know, they're good fellas. You know what I'm saying? They're good fellas. So that happened. Rachel was instrumental in getting us associated with United Way, as well as the Oshner Hospital, to be a part of what we're doing in the Port of South Louisiana, which we plan on having a much larger relationship with them as we move forward. The St. Charles Parish School System, though, that also came via, which I wish that his thing wasn't froze, because
oh, he's back. Look like he's back.
Oh man.
Come on, bring it in.
Explain our relationship with St. Charles Parish School System. How did that come about, my brother?
Well, again, being that you know, I'm not relegated to St. Charles Parish or New Orleans or Louisiana. My family is from Winfield, Alexandria, Shreveport, all the way to New Orleans through St. Charles Parish. So I'm totally a Louisianian.
Yeah.
And, just my family worked through the parish, through Louisiana. My personal work, you know, business and industry and associations, you know, we were able to garner the support. And, you know, a lot of companies, we're looking forward to next year already, because sometimes, you know, a company or entity want to just see what you do. You want to make sure you don't just run off with the money.
Right.
And so, you know, we want to, you know, retain the support that we have, but that we will have in the future. So we'll just continue to, as Chayil and I finally kind of said, that, what is it, Chayil? 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese.
Yeah, that's right.
All on the sesame. This is what we be doing, and we just going to continue to do that. Remain positive, and support will come when they see the honesty that we bring to the table and the true sincerity in what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, I must say that you guys have given me a wealth of good stuff, right? I mean, so I know that the listening audience, those who are listening now and those who will play it back, will appreciate the fact that you two gentlemen are adamantly trying to preserve our culture, a culture, like you said, Mr. Chayil, that has not been given the recognition that it deserves. And like you, and I'm glad, Ricardo, that you said that this is not about money per se. This is about preserving the culture that's so vast and so rich, and letting everyone know that, hey, yeah, we're still here, and we can do righteous business. So I want to appreciate, I want to let you all know that I appreciate that to the utmost, to the utmost, to the utmost. And so I had rapid fire questions prepared, but you all did such a good job throughout the course of this interview that, you know, you pretty much answered all of the rapid fire questions. We know that you are not just doing business with the indigenous culture, but you're trying to broaden out and reach other nations, other cultures, other tribes, and bringing it all together. And that was, like I said, this interview was supposed to be two purposeful. One, to let people know that there is a rich culture in New Orleans, and it's moving now to the St. Charles Parish and all the other river parishes. At the same time, knowing that when you come together as individuals and working together for one mission, that you can change things. Change happens through building those relationships and working together. So with that being said, Ricardo, what is your last words for the listening audience?
Well, I would just like to say, you know, as you could clearly see, this is a multi-layered system here. And Chayil and I have had over 10 years of talking and discovery, and the last 3 years of building this process and bringing on, you know, the type of people. You know, one thing you think about, it probably would dismay the
Wow, I hate that he's breaking.
Yeah.
I hate that because I know he was getting ready to say something that was so profound. So, Brother Chayil, what is your last words? What do you want the people to know? With all that's being said, can you just wrap it up in nice and sweet package for the people?
Thankful, humble, prayerful. And thankful because our communities are coming together, and we are celebrating multicultural by respecting each culture, not by doing it for money, but we're coming together not to just appropriate somebody's culture, not to just celebrate it in a manner that you're not respecting it. We are coming together to say we respect each other's culture, and no, we don't all have to agree. Yes, it was a murky background, but all of our cultures is our cultures, and we're going to respect it, and we're going to celebrate together. Humble because it has been a long journey to get here. Humble because of the partnerships that we've been able to attain, and that they are solid partnerships. Prayerful that we are able to live up to all that we are trying to do. Prayerful that the Most High allows us to deliver on all that we are stating, all that we are creating, and the bonds that we are trying to lay out. So yeah, thankful, humble, and prayerful.
Well, you said it, and I love how you so eloquently put that together. My brother, I wish you all the success in the world. May the Most High continue to bless you in all your endeavors. You have to come back and let us know how the festival went, and also keep us abreast of any new events that you all will put on. Shouts out, salute to the Feather Fund NOLA. May the Most High continue to bless you, and once again, thank you for coming on the show.
And thank you so much for having us on. And we will make sure we got better connections, and we will make sure that we are on time next time. We got it mixed up on our end. So we really thank you, Koti Tamar, for having patience with us. And we thank brother Major TV. I thought he was going to be on here too. Tell him I said shout out. I know he's from the city as well. So just let him know that we expect y'all both next year to come down here and do this live at the festival next year. So we hope that happens.
Yeah, that's something that's probably right up our alley to do that. Do a virtual, have it done virtually for you guys. Provide that virtual connection. So yeah, my brother, that sounds something that we can put on the calendar for next year. And like I said, y'all bless you and your family, and keep doing your thing. You're looking good.
It's all praises. We thank y'all. See y'all November 5th, 12 to 7 p.m. Come on out.
Yes. All right. Cultural Festival. Yes, sir. Shalom, my brother.
Me shalom.
Okay, so family, there you have it in a nutshell. That's what it looks like when individuals come together and work and put their individual talents to work, and not just relying on one person to be that person that's going to do it all. So collectively together. So I want to give a shout out again to Brother Chayil, Glenn Chayil Jones, and Ricardo Smith of the Feather Fund NOLA. That's a nonprofit organization that's going to be putting on that festival on Sunday, November 5th, out in Luland in St. Charles Parish. It's going to be a cultural festival with something for everyone. So bring your family out. Cost is $10. You can go to the featherfundnola.com and cop your tickets. Also, news, facts, and comments and Major TV Let's Talk will be back on live again this Sunday at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern Time to bring you the updates in the news. That's NFNC Sunday Rap Session. We're going to be back again this Sunday at 5 p.m. So don't forget to set your look out for our programming flyer. Click the like button, share it, and hit the subscribe button, and also the notification bell so that you'll know exactly when we're going live. So with that being said, in a nutshell, my friends, I thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for the next interview. And as always, I'm Koti Tamar. I love you all with the love of Yahuwah. Shalom.